Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of examples on two-step equations. A little further instruction, I guess. So let's look at this problem right here. Let's look at number 1. And I want you to tell me, first of all, what's the first thing that we do to the variable? If we're following order of operations, what is actually happening to the variable? What operation? Okay, and I know, and hopefully in your head, you know that this fraction bar means division. So division is the first thing that is happening to this variable. And then after that variable, or whatever that unknown is divided by 10. After they divide it, then we are adding 4. So addition is the next step that's happening. Okay, so here's number 1 that's happening, and here's number 2 that's happening. So to get rid of those types of things, we have to work in reverse. So the first thing we have to undo is the last thing that's been done. So we have to get rid of this positive 4, or this addition. So we have to undo the addition. So we're going to take this and we're going to subtract it off. And so when we add 4 to whatever this number is, we actually end up with 5. So we have to take off 4 from here too, because we're not going to actually end up with 5 anymore. After we've added 4, we end up with 5. So before we added that 4, we must have had a 1, because 1 plus 4 is 5. So we're undoing that addition, and we are now to just the division. So we've gotten rid of this. So now we're to the division. So you guys, since we had a positive 4, we did a negative 4. We did the opposite. Okay? Opposite. Because that equals 0. Positive 4 and negative 4 add to 0. If you want to look at it like this, that's a little bit easier. Plus 4, a positive 4, and then a negative 4 add to 0. Now, the opposite of division is multiplication. So the way we're going to undo this, this division is by multiplying both sides by whatever it is we divided our unknown. So if our unknown, whatever it is, if we divide it by 10 and get 1, if we multiply this over here by 10, we should get the answer that we actually started with, the number we started with, which is R. Okay, so R equals 10. And you guys, when you get an answer, check it. So put in the 10 right here and go 10 divided by 10 plus 4 equals 5, and check it. 10 divided by 10, well, anything divided by itself is 1. So 1 plus 4 equals 5. So that's just a review of two-step equations. You have to ask yourself what's going on. So let's practice on this one. Okay, so that first step that we see, okay, the first step we see that's happening to our variable, the first thing they're doing is they're multiplying, okay, multiplying by 3. Okay, then they are subtracting, or actually there's a negative 2, so subtracting 2. So we have to undo that part, that subtracting 2, by adding that 2 back into this number. Because after we subtracted 2, we ended up at negative 29. Okay, this is where a lot of you guys messed up. And if you have to use a calculator, please use a calculator and punch in negative 29 plus 2. Type it in just as you see it on your paper. If you will write it that way, you will not make a mistake in the calculator. So now we've undone the subtraction by adding 2. Okay, adding 2. So now we have 3 times p, because we're multiplying, and then negative 29 plus 2. If it's negative 29 degrees and the temperature increases by 2, it's now just negative 27 degrees. So now to undo the multiplication by 3, we have to do the opposite, which is divide by the exact same number. So we divide both sides. Sorry about that. We divide both sides by 3. Okay? This one is a little challenge. I'll let you figure it out for yourself.